Good morning and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I am located at 1563 Main Street in lovely Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I am right here with you each and every weekend at this time on this station to give you, the landowner, the information that you need regarding natural gas development and solar energy development here in Pennsylvania. At the Clark Law Firm, you know it. I, Doug Clark, the Clark Law Firm, has never, will never, have not, will not, do not represent gas or pipeline companies. And guess what? Not solar companies either. Nope, nope, nope. I represent Pennsylvania landowners, oil and gas right owners, property owners for oil and gas matters, and solar energy. I am seeing so much more of it. And I got to tell you, it's an exciting time because solar can develop simultaneously with oil and gas development if you are careful and it is done correctly. I am going to talk today about some solar issues. We'll talk oil and gas too, but we need to get this solar information out to you. I need to get this solar information out to you today, yesterday, last week, tomorrow. You need this information. And thankfully, I do not have to reinvent the wheel here because I'm going to give you the most specific, best advice that I can possibly give you. Put the pen down and don't sign the solar agreement without talking to me or somebody who knows what the heck they are doing. These agreements are big deals, huge deals, huge. They're not gas leases, they're different. There's similarities, but man, there's a lot of differences. And I'm going to tell you, my experience, I am seeing people. This is amazing. I'm amazed. I did not foresee this. There's many things I don't foresee, some I do, but I did not foresee that I'd be getting all of these calls in 2021 and the end of 2020 about solar energy development in Pennsylvania. I mean, I know this. I've often thought, boy, I wish I lived in some place that was sunnier and warmer. But no, I've lived in Pennsylvania my whole life and plan on continuing to, but neither here nor there. Amazingly, at least to me, we are seeing all of this solar development. And what I'm seeing is, and guys, this is so critical, what I am seeing are these companies, and it seems to me that every call I get involves a new or a different solar energy company that I have never heard of before. So when I look at these offers that clients get, so say I have about 10 people that have offers now, and I'm looking at them, I believe all 10 were originally from different companies. So think about this, guys. Think about this. Back in 2000 to 2010, and in some cases a little later, but let's say 2000 to 2010, there were all of these different companies going out and making oil and gas lease offers. Many of them, well, some of them were literally planning to go drill and develop. Many others were planning to secure leases at the lowest possible rates, at the best possible term for the companies, and then take that lease once you've signed it and trade it, assign it, sell it to another company. Where the first company that signed you up, so this is how it works, guys. Let's lift the curtain. Here's how it works. I wouldn't do this, but let's say I'll use myself as an example. Of course, you all know I would never do this. But let's say I go out and I talk to a landowner and I explain how this is such a great deal and how they're going to be so rich. And I get them to sign a lease for 12.5% royalty. I then go to a bigger company who's actually going to develop in the area, and I say, hey, Mr. Company, I have this lease or these leases where people signed up at 12.5% interest. I will assign or give you this lease, transfer it to you. In exchange for all the gas that you produce under this lease, you have a lease to pay the landowner 12.5%. I want 2.5% of all royalty. So I will assign it to you, company, in exchange for all gas that's ever produced under this lease from now to the end of time. I get 2.5% royalty. I don't have to do anything. I just got somebody to sign, and then I transfer it over to you, company. And the landowner gets 12.5. I get 2.5, and you, company, get 85% royalty. Good deal for the middleman. If you get a bunch of people, you get a few thousand acres signed up, 12.5, you shift them to a producer. That producer then pays the middleman 2.5% royalty on the 1,000 or few thousand acres. Pretty darn good deal for not a lot of effort. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Make sure you join me each and every week at this time on this station for All Things Marcellus, where we talk about oil and gas and now more solar issues as well facing the Pennsylvania landowner. And you can always give me a call, and I hope you do. Reviews, consultations. I'm going to say this. You get a solar lease. What do you want to do? I hope you're saying it with me. Put the pen down. Pick up the phone. Give me a call. Get me the information. Let's do a review and consultation and talk about what you have, what your options are. May other companies be interested? How does this offer compare to other offers? All of those things you need to know. Now, there may be confidentiality. This is really important too. So there may be confidentiality that, say, me as a lawyer, I can't tell you what another client or landowner has received. And that's pretty common. But if there is confidentiality, I can't tell you this, but what I can see and what I can say is, hey, you're offered $1,000 per acre per year for this solar lease. And I know Doug Clark knows and my other clients, and I'm going to make up a number. Let's say they're getting $1,200 per acre. And I say, hey, Mr. Landowner, I can't say, hey, company ABC is paying $1,200 an acre. But what I can say is, maybe we should inquire to see if any other companies are interested. And I highly recommend that. Competition, you guessed it, competition. So we want to get competition to drive up your price, your terms, and your protections. We want to do that. So we also, as everybody wants to do, we want to maximize the property protections. We want to put limits on the company. We want to maximize your future income, and we want to protect your property. And we're going to be able to do that we're going to have a better circumstance and a situation to do that if we're negotiating with more than one company. But back to what I was saying. So I can't tell you, hey, company ABC is paying $1,200 and you're offered $1,000. But what I can say is, hey, landowner, let me tell you in my experience, because I have it, in my experience, companies, may pay you a little more than this. Maybe you should ask for a little more money. In my experience, this offer is a little below market. In my experience, this is a good offer relative to financial terms. But there are also time frames involved in these solar leases. And I got to stress this. These leases are complicated and complex. I want to say that again. These solar leases are complicated and complex. And there are, in my opinion, I'll use my term, loopholes that you could drive a rocket ship through. Loopholes that you could drive on the ground a B-52 bomber through. In other words, I don't know, bad examples, big loopholes here. Big loopholes. You may sign a solar lease thinking you're going to get all these solar panels on your property. You're going to make all this money. They're going to use, let's say, 100 acres of your property, maybe 50, whatever it is that you think you're going to use. And next thing you know, 5 years later, you have a substation on your property and no solar panels, and they've only used 15 acres. And you got a substation on your property. And I'll tell you what, most people listening, I'll bet, and don't mean to be offensive, but most people listening probably don't even know what a substation is. Think about the landman. who works for the company, not you, the landowner. The landman came out to you to see you for oil and gas. And they said, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be rich. Here's what's going to happen. Everybody listening to me, not many people had an experience that occurred like they were told it was going to occur by the landman who works for the company, not you, the landowner. Most people had a different experience. People were sitting out there, Tioga County, 10, 15 years with no production, shut-in wells. So why? And look, no offense to these guys, I got jobs to do. That's fine. The good news is now we know. We're smarter now because we've experienced. We, unfortunately, many people were taken advantage of. But we're not going to let that happen again because now we know. And I sure hope we're not going to let that happen again. Hopefully we learned that lesson. And again, all of these agreements are so powerful. But these solar leases, complex. There are many issues that you need to be aware of, concerned about, and I believe addressed. And there are many different types of these contracts. I'm working on one now that with the exhibits and amendments is over 35 pages. 35 pages. And I'm going to tell you, it's a bear to go through. And I've read it. I've read this thing probably at least 5 times now. And I've read individual provisions like a dozen plus times. My goal is to have every single word of that document memorized so I know what every darn thing means. And then I talk to my client and say, listen, here's something that can occur. Here's how we can try to prevent it. Have I been able to prevent this in the past? What do we expect as we go forward? Can we get other companies interested? You must explore those things. I am terrified. I myself am really fearful about landowners just going ahead and signing these solar leases because everybody, just like the first gas leases, just like the first time the gas leases were $100 or something, per acre, just like when people got excited about, hey, here's this gas lease. People were calling me about the solar. Most of them, I can hear that same excitement. And we need to, as a general rule, always take a step back when you're dealing with these things. Take a step back. Don't plunge in, step back, and then we'll dip our toe in. And then we'll move forward. But we don't need to be rushed. We do not need to be rushed. And everyone's always, remember, gas leases too, they're always in a hurry. Sign. Tioga County, 15 years later, you see no development in most areas. Most areas, you're seeing nothing. So when they're in such a big hurry 10 years ago, why? Because being in a hurry and telling you how great things are going to be may lead you to hurry up and sign and not negotiate, not make it better, not protect yourself, and unfortunately can really put you in a bind in the future. So I plead that everyone needs to learn those lessons. If you haven't already, just think about it. This is serious stuff. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me each and every week at this time on this station for All Things Marcellus. And you can call me, the Clark Law Firm, Doug Clark. I do all these solar reviews, oil and gas lease, pipelines, you name it, reviews, consultations. Usually take 1 to 2 hours. I do them all myself. You get a solar offer. You call me, 570-307-0702. That's 570-307-0702. You give me a call. You send me your offer, the information you have. We schedule a call. I review everything. I explain to you your situation, your options. We're going to talk about any interest, and I hope you have it, to bring in competition, other companies, to talk about what's good of this offer, what may be bad. How does it compare to other offers? You need to have this information. We need to talk about, is your property, does it have a mortgage? That is very important, guys. If you have a mortgage and you're signing these documents, you're making, in my opinion, a mistake. You need to understand that first. And these documents, I'm not saying you can't sign if you have a mortgage. You have to be aware of this. In many cases, in my opinion, it has to be addressed, in my opinion, before you sign the lease. You also have to be aware of your mortgage and any terms that it may have that could be relevant to you signing a solar lease. Just things that you have to be aware of. If your property is mortgaged, you need to be aware of what your lease says, what can occur afterwards, and how it could possibly create major issues for you in the future. And if you listen every once in a while, I'll say one of my favorite things to say to my kids: nothing is a problem until it's a problem. So you can drive down the highway 95 miles an hour all you want until you see that siren come on, God forbid, or if you wreck. But you can do that and there's no issues as long as you don't wreck. You can go 90 miles an hour down Route 80. But when the siren comes on, now you have a problem. And it's the same type of thing. You can sign a lease and it may go perfectly. I am very concerned about many things, and I'm not telling you to do it. Not sign. Don't just sign. But sometimes things that work out well. But if all of a sudden the bank knocks on your door, says, "What did you do? You weren't allowed to do this." Or the gas company says, or the solar company says, "You guaranteed us in this lease agreement that you had the right to do this." Now the bank is saying no. And we've spent $100,000 and we're going to sue you because you caused us to waste our money because you represented that this could occur. Be careful. Put the pen down, pick up the phone. This is one issue. One issue. Remember I said this document, one I'm working on now, is over 35 pages with the lease and the exhibits and the addendums and things. 35 pages. I'm talking about one issue, the mortgage issue. That's it. Just talking about mortgage issue alone. That can create an absolute nightmare. You need to understand it, and you need to act accordingly, and you need to make sure that you're protected under the agreement. Again, I'm only talking about mortgage. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about, hey, they're offering you $800 and you might be able to get $1,200 an acre. They're offering you, whatever the case may be. They're offering you a 3-year initial term versus a 5. All of these things really, really matter. But again, people tend to focus money, which is not a problem. That should be a focus. But there's other things too. We want to maximize your money. We always do, your initial, and as you go through the life of the contract. We want to maximize that, but we want to protect your property. We want to guarantee that if you're signing this, you're not going to get surprised, that they're not going to use 10 acres and put a substation on your property, which you're looking out your window every day for the rest of your life. And you didn't even know what a substation was, but the person told you, "Oh, we're going to put these panels on the property. It's probably going to be this size." Remember, what you sign is what matters. The document you sign is what matters. Not what the landman who works for the company, not you, the landowner, told you. What you sign is what matters. And that's why we got to stop signing, picking up the phone, and getting help, do a review and consultation. I stress these all the time, and it's a broken record, because in a matter of 1 to 2 hours, you'll learn so much. And I want to do this. I want this information out there. I want to maximize, just like in gas leases. When companies were paying people $500 an acre, $250 an acre, and then it went up all the way in some areas to $5,000 and $6,000 an acre, what do we want to do the whole time? Drive the price up the whole time. So if a company out there is offering, $500 more per acre per year, boy, you better know that. You better know that. And you better see if that company may be interested in your property. You also want to look at how strong the companies are, what their experience is. Are they going to assign it? Then what are the terms of the assignment? All of these are absolutely critical. And I'm going to be doing, over this year, I'm sure I'm going to be doing many solar shows and partial shows on solar. Because I'm telling you, my phone is ringing like crazy with these solar. And again, they're different companies. So we got to make sure that you're dealing with the right company for you, that you're bringing in any competition that you have, that you're not signing for $900 an acre per year when you could be getting $1,200, $1,400, whatever that number is. We got to make sure that you're not going to sign thinking you're going to have a 50 or 100 acre development in your property with solar panels and getting paid every year for 100 acres of use, only to find out later they use 10, 15 acres and put a substation on your property and you're hardly getting any money, but you got this ugly, ugly substation in your backyard or in your backfield. That can't occur. That's why you're going to call 570-307-0702. Me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Do a review and consultation and get the information you need. Then you can decide, what do I do from there? Your only obligation is the review and consultation, and it's going to get you a lot of great information in a very short period of time. From who? From me, Attorney Doug Clark, who is working for you, the Pennsylvania land and property owner. Not working for the company, never have, never, ever will. Keep listening. We're at the end of this segment. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me each and every week at this time on this station for All Things Marcellus, and I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember, I represent Pennsylvania landowners, oil and gas right owners. I have not, and I will not represent oil or gas or pipeline or solar companies. And I represent landowners for such things as oil and gas lease negotiations, pipeline agreements, pipeline negotiations, any and all matters dealing with oil and gas, royalty issues, deduction issues, unitization issues, trespass issues, pipeline issues, surface use, compressor, water impoundment, you name it. Litigation against and in defense. If you're sued for some reason by the gas or pipeline company, give me a call. Let's see if we can help you out. And of course, solar. Again, holds true. Stop signing these agreements. Pick up the pen, put down the phone. We need to make sure that you are protected. Now, this is critical. We're at the infancy of this. We need to protect you right now and everybody else going forward. Think about this. This is our second opportunity for many people where you have regrets about how you handled the gas leasing. Gosh, let's not repeat those mistakes. And if one thing comes through with today's show, I really want to stress how complicated and complex these agreements are. Take this from a guy who's dealing with contracts every day. And these things are complicated. They are difficult. This is no joke. This is serious stuff. It can be potentially a wonderful thing for people. It can be generational wealth. But boy, you better be careful. You're dealing with a lot of companies who are just starting up, that they're brand new. And they're going to be, ideally, if everything goes well, putting a lot of things, facilities, panels, electrical equipment, towers, pools, running lines, all of these things. You better know what they're going to be doing. But you know what else? You better protect yourself in case something goes wrong. And many things can go wrong. There could be injuries. There could be problems. There could be trespassers that come on the property. Many problems can occur. Anytime you're dealing with an industrial situation, anything, problems can occur. So you have to protect that. But you know what, guys? You have to protect yourself also for any of these companies potentially going bankrupt. This is critical. You must protect yourself against bankruptcy. Think about back in the time with the gas companies. Many people say, you don't need to really worry. Chesapeake, great example. Chesapeake has a multi-billion-dollar market cap. They're worth so much money. They're never going to go bankrupt. We're the greatest. I mean, if you ever dealt with Chesapeake back in around 2007 to 2012, think about what they told you. Think about the thought how remote the thought that they could go bankrupt would be. Well, fast forward, and in case you didn't know, Chesapeake went bankrupt. And many other oil and gas companies in the United States went bankrupt, when at the time it seemed, that's crazy, that'll never happen. But it did. Now, thankfully, it didn't cause enormous problems for the Pennsylvania landowners, as far as enormous problems because they left their equipment somewhere and they didn't have the money to clean it up. Now, Pennsylvania has bonding requirements. They have surety requirements for the oil and gas. But what about solar? This is new, guys. So let's back up. No one thought an oil and gas company like Chesapeake was going to go bankrupt, and they did. Now, what do you think about brand new, newly created solar energy companies that are coming into Pennsylvania? Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't in my life in Pennsylvania, and gosh, I'm almost 51. I haven't seen it. I have yet to see a big solar panel field in Pennsylvania. I haven't seen one yet. Now, I know there is one, but I haven't seen it. So my point is, this is new. It's new to Pennsylvania. So the development itself is new. Brand new. Then you throw in, so let me back up. So the development is new. What if it fails? What if it fails? You better darn well be protected. What are you going to do with these panels? What are you going to do with electric lines, towers, substation? What are you going to do with this stuff in your property? Boy, you better not get left holding the bag. You can't let yourself get holding the bag. Remember, this is new. What if it fails? What if it fails? The gas, we saw gas was happening. What if this fails? We saw gas was happening. We saw multi-billion-dollar companies, and we saw them go bankrupt. Now we have startup companies, which I'm going to talk about now, but we have startup companies doing a brand new industry in Pennsylvania. So let's hope the industry and the plans work, and I'm optimistic that they will, but, or else I wouldn't do this, but also, it's a new company. New companies are the most fragile companies. If Chesapeake, at the time back in the day, I think the stock price was $70-some at the beginning, might even be higher than that, went all the way down to bankrupt. So now we're talking about these startup companies. You can't trade them on the stock market. These companies we're dealing with, they're like LLC companies. They've just been created. So you have a potentially fragile industry, but at least new, at least a very new industry. And who's coming into it? New companies. New companies. So let me tell you, this has the potential to be something that would be really great. Really, really great. But it also has the potential to be a problem. And my job and your job, my job is to protect you from problems. One of my jobs. Your job is also to protect yourself from having a problem. And like I said, greatest way to start, do a review and consultation. Take 1 to 2 hours. Find out what the most important things are that you need to know, and then decide, what do you want to do going forward. If you need more assistance, great. We'll talk about it. We can enter into an agreement that we'll work together further. But if you don't, that's okay too. It's okay. It's okay. You decide. There's never any pressure, not trying to talk anyone into being a client. I want to make sure, though, I think it's just so darn important that you do these reviews and consultations so you can at least get your bearings, understand what you have. If you're not doing that, I don't know why. Why? And I say this because I want to get this information to you. I have seen these letters of intent. I've seen multiple. I know where they're good. I know where they're bad. I know where they're different. I can help you. Call Attorney Doug Clark, 570-307-0702. That's 570-307-0702. Keep listening right here each and every week to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. And another thing I want to do is I want to direct you guys to the websites. I think this is really important. Go to my websites. I have 2, and I'm working on a solar. pagasleaseattorney.com and pipelineattorney.com. Let me say that again. pagasleaseattorney.com and pipelineattorney.com. Now, why am I telling you this? Learn about me. Learn about what I do. And if you are anywhere involved in oil and gas or pipelines or get any offers or anything, gosh, go to pagasleaseattorney.com and pipelineattorney.com. Get free information, general information, but get specific information as you go forward. But go check it out. And the other thing, read the testimonials up there. Because, I get into this and I always fear, oh, boy, I'm going to sound corny. But I'm going to tell you, I love doing what I do. I love to make sure that someone doesn't get ripped off. I love it. I love to make sure that property owners are maximizing their property. I love doing the reviews and consultations. I love letting people know, hey, this is good, this is bad, this is okay, here's where it's good, here's where it's bad. There's nothing negative to you other than you will have a legal bill for 1 to 2 hours of time. And then you decide what you want to do. But like I say all the time, I've never had somebody say, oh boy, that wasn't worth it. Routinely, wow, this was great. Thank you. So glad that we talked. Maybe they want more representation. Maybe they don't. That's okay. But gosh, do that darn initial call. Do a review and consultation. Find out what you need to know. These solar leases, like I talked about in the first segment, they are very complicated and complex. I am seeing letters of intent, initial offers from multiple companies. I'm seeing them. I am reviewing them. I am studying them. I am breaking them down. I am comparing them. I am understanding them. I am now conveying that information to you and what you need to know. I am not breaching any confidentiality, but what I'm doing is explaining to you where your offer is good, where it may be weak, where it may be bad, and how you may be able to incite competition, to bring in other companies into the mix. If you're interested, how can you do this and maximize your negotiation, leverage, and position? And boy, you need to do that, guys. You need to do it. And it's real simple. Given a solar offer, any kind, put the pen down, pick up the phone, give me a call, schedule a review and consultation, find out what you need to know. 570-307-0702. That's 570-307-0702. Attorney Doug Clark. I do all of these myself. You're not going to talk to anyone else. You're going to talk to me, and I'm going to break it down for you and make sure you have what you need to decide how to proceed. 570-307-0702. And keep listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, each and every week at this time on this station. I'll be right back after this super important message. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember, call me anytime. I've been talking about solar today, but any oil and gas related issue, pipeline issue. I'm doing a lot more estate planning. I've been saying that, but I keep doing more and more. We're doing probates of estates for our oil and gas clients. So any of those things, give us a call, 570-307-0702, 570-307-0702. See if we can help you, see if we're right for you. Again, I really encourage people, because I am proud of what I do, and I'm proud of what our reputation is. I really, really am. I encourage you. Ask any neighbor, friends, anyone, hey, have you ever had a review and consultation with Doug Clark? Have you ever dealt with Doug Clark? Ask them. Because I really don't believe there's people out there saying, oh boy, that was a waste of time. Actually, I'm very confident in that. And we get referrals from clients all the time that I'm so happy and proud of. And our retention of clients is unbelievable. I am, again, so proud of that. And my point is, and why I say that is I want you to have the faith. You don't have to take it from me. Hopefully you listen to the show and you say, hey, listen, I like what this guy's saying. I can tell he wants the help. I can tell he's fighting, and I know where his heart is, and I know where his head is. That's a big part of the show, and also to get you information. But you don't have to take my word. Ask somebody else. Go to the websites, pagasleaseattorney.com and pipelineattorney.com. Check out the testimonials written by prior clients. Let me tell you, we haven't updated those in a while, but I could have, there's 100 and some there. We could have easily 100 and some more. But I want you to look at that and understand that my sole intent is to make sure you have the information that you need, and to make sure you're maximizing your situation. I love doing it, and I want to help in any way I can, and I hope I can help you. 570-307-0702. And no matter what, keep listening to All Things Marcellus each and every week at this time on this station with me, Attorney Doug Clark. 2021 is a big year. It's a big year, and I see solar jumping off the charts right now. I'm seeing oil and gas development. I'm doing lease reviews with Seneca over this past week. I'm doing pipeline agreements. I'm fighting royalty issues. I'm in the federal appellate court right now. We're in federal district court right now. Listen, we're making things happen from our end and protecting Pennsylvania landowners. So whether it's a serious litigation issue, whether it's, hey, I got a gas lease and I don't want to make a mistake, call. Same thing, pipeline agreements. Put the pen down and call. 570-307-0702. And regardless of your location. Now, with the whole pandemic and for a while, I do these even to begin with by telephone all the time, and they work extremely well. You send me the information, I review everything, you have your documents in front of you, I do as well. We get on the phone, and you get the information you need. You ask me questions, and I answer them. I tell you the answers to questions you're not even asking, but which are important to you. So regardless of your location, here it comes. I've represented the person in Micronesia on an oil and gas lease in Pennsylvania, Canada, Europe, Great Britain, all over the United States, where people owned property or oil and gas interest in Pennsylvania, but even in places across the globe. Pretty amazing. So you can call me. I was pretty amazing from this guy who grew up on Airport Road having mud fights and rock fights with my cousins. No, it's pretty cool. So I get to help the people like my parents, like my grandparents, like all the relatives and the people and neighbors around me. I say neighbors loosely. But, I grew up in an area like Tioga County, Bradford. It's Armstrong County, adjoining my grandparents' farm, our house. So this is a really cool gift for me. It's an incredible opportunity for me to help people like my family, my neighbors, and, myself, how I grew up. And it's so great to be able to do this. So I really encourage you, give me a call. Let's see, just start with the review and consultation, because it has been such a great service. And the worst thing that can happen is you'll understand what you have. You understand what's good and bad. You understand, do you want to proceed or not, how it can improve, how it won't improve, what you need to be protected from, and then you decide to either go forward or not. So the worst thing that happens is you spend an hour or two of legal fees, and let me tell you, you're not going to go broke doing that, and you're going to get the information you need to guide you on how to proceed. 570-307-0702. Regardless, whether it's oil, gas, solar, any document, put that pen down and pick up the phone and give me a call, and keep listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark, each and every week at this time on this station. So like I said, I'm talking about solar. There's so many darn things to talk about. There's just so many things to discuss with solar. I can't do it in a show, and I can't do it probably in 5 shows. I haven't even talked too much about money. Obviously we want to maximize what the money is. I talked before about if you have a mortgage, how you better be aware of that. And you better be aware of what the document says about your mortgage and what you're guaranteeing the solar company relative to your mortgage. Because if you end up having a problem down the line, it may not be an easy problem to solve. It may be an enormous problem which is going to be very, very detrimental to you and maybe cost you a whole lot of money. We need to prevent those problems and all others. I also talked a little earlier about bankruptcy. And as an example, people didn't think, oh, these gas companies, Chesapeake, they'll never go bankrupt. But they did. They did. They went bankrupt. Now we talk solar. We got startup companies, brand new companies. Maybe they have a couple projects. Maybe they really don't have any. Maybe they have several. All of these things are relevant. But regardless, most of them are new companies, recently formed. They are by nature going to be more fragile than what Chesapeake was when they were, tens and tens of billions of dollars of a market capital. That was their value, their market cap. And these companies have virtually no market cap. Chesapeake traded on the stock market. These companies, generally aren't trading on the stock market. So you got startup companies in a startup industry in Pennsylvania. You better be aware of potential bankruptcy. What happens? They put panels, they put devices, they put facilities, they put towers, they put poles, they put wires, and a year later they go bankrupt. Bankrupt, no money. They got no money. And you look out in your backyard, you got these panels that aren't connected, let's say, aren't working. You got lines, you got poles, you got all these facilities on your property. You're not getting any royalty, and the company's gone bankrupt. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, that's a problem. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know what you're going to do in the future. I don't. But I know what we're going to do today. I know that when you sign that agreement, you're going to understand all of these things if you sign, and you are going to be protected to the level that makes you comfortable, or you're not going to sign. You're going to have bonding, sureties, that if the company goes bankrupt, you're going to be covered. You can't be left holding the bag. Again, Chesapeake went bankrupt. Chesapeake. ABC Solar, well, they can too. They can too. So you better darn well be protected. And I'm telling you, things I'm reading, not good at all. In my opinion, not good at all. This is a big deal. And when I say that nothing's a problem until it's a problem, well, sometimes things aren't really a problem. I stubbed my toe. Yeah, it hurts. Or, oh, shoot, I got a 50-acre field of facilities that aren't working, a company's bankrupt, and I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. You got to cover that now. You don't want to be asking that question later. How do you cover that? What do you do? Well, there's ways to do it. You need to understand it. It gets very complicated, and that's why a review and consultation is just a great thing, because then you can figure out, what are my options? What do I want to do? How do I want to proceed forward? Oh, I never really realized that. Oh, you mean if this company goes bankrupt after they put these facilities in, there's no bonding, there's no surety, I'm stuck? Let's talk about those things, and let's talk about how you avoid them. You have to. You just have to. So call me, Attorney Doug Clark, 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702, regardless of your location. Call, hear what we do. When you call, you're not bound to do a review and consultation. Call. Marcia does the intakes. Find out what we do and say, okay, I want to schedule a call with Doug, or I don't. And that's okay too. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's okay for you just to go sign agreements if you're not talking to me or somebody else who knows what they're doing, who's seen 5, 10, 15 letters of intent, who've went through these documents with fine-tooth combs. Find somebody. If you're not calling me, you better darn well talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. And, well, find somebody. Good luck. You can call me. I don't know. I'm really scared about this stuff, that people need to get assistance. And I'm really afraid when I go through these agreements, and that's why I'm talking so much solar, that there are a lot of potential problems here. And people I know aren't going to see these problems. And we're going to have huge problems down the road. And it's going to be for people, many people, you could have avoided them, or you could avoid those problems. Do a review and consultation. Take 1 to 2 hours, find out what the problems are, and decide how you want to proceed. Call me, Attorney Doug Clark, 570-307-0702. See what we can do for you. 570-307-0702. Keep listening to All Things Marcellus. We have one more segment left. I'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember to join me each and every week at this time on this station for All Things Marcellus. We're running a lot of new shows now. Last year, end of 2020, I'm doing great, but I had a fairly serious neck surgery. Doing great, 100% doing great. No more physical therapy. Thank God I had it. There are miracle workers. Doing great. But I had to run a lot of reruns at the end of last year, so we'll be running new shows now, mostly new shows going forward, so really excited about that. Excited to feel good again. My neck, I had a 4-disc fusion. So, hey, listen, out there, at this point, I had a discectomy in my back about 10 years ago, and a 4-disc fusion in my neck here at the end of 2020. So, hey, you want to talk about some surgeries? I could talk about that too. I won't bill you for it either. But anyway, so feeling great though, and back and at them, and ready to really do new shows and really go to battle. And look, it was fortunate in the timing where at the end of 2020 things really slowed down, pandemic, weather, pricing. But now 2021, everything's opening up. Things are opening up. I'll just put it that way. And thankfully, I'm feeling physically ready to take all of these on. I feel better than I felt in over a year easily. So again, I want to hear from you. I want to see if we can help you. Any and all oil and gas related matter. I want to stress too, I have multiple lawsuits with companies going on now where we sue, and sometimes I have to defend people. So if you have royalty, unitization, lease termination issues, things like that, guys in Tioga, if Seneca sends you something or knocks on your door, put any pen away in your house and pick up the phone and call me, because your old lease may be dead and you signing something could be a complete and total enormous mistake. Find out whether it is or not. Get the information. People are going to revive dead leases. Tioga County. There will be people in Tioga County in 2021, I have no doubt, that revive dead leases for little to no money. And that's a shame. That's a shame. And call me, 570-307-0702, if you get an offer, if you get any offer, and find out, why are you getting this if you already have an existing lease? What mistake might I be making? And I'll say it again. The worst thing that can happen is you find out you're not getting tricked. You're not getting conned. You're not getting duped. What's happening is you actually got a good offer that makes sense. And maybe you can make it a little better. Maybe you can't. But yeah, go ahead. This is not a problem, and I would have no objection with you moving forward and signing if you feel it's appropriate. Or, okay, well, let me back up. That's the worst thing. You're not getting took, and you get your questions and concerns answered. And I do those, I have those calls and reviews also. And so on the other side, you may find out, whoa. You're getting this because it has the word ratification. Rat. ratification. You're getting this because they want you to ratify your lease because it is either dead or probably dead. And you may be able to negotiate. You may be in an incredible leverage position. They may have a permitted bore that goes under your property. There's all kinds of things. I mean, at that point, I get into the minutia. We get down to the nitty gritty. What is your leverage? What's your position? You got to know those things. And you can't revive a dead lease for no compensation. You can't do it. I mean, you can, but boy, don't do it. Don't do it. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. It is critical that if you are given any document, whether from a solar company, gas, or pipeline, that you don't just go signing that document, that you get assistance. I want to help you. 570-307-0702. But as you hear me say, if it's not me, make sure it's somebody. Get help from somebody who knows what they're doing. And when these solar leases come, ask the attorney. Ask whoever you're talking to. How many of these have you seen? How many of you negotiated? How many of you what we call redlined? How many of you went back and forth on? How many different numbers have you seen? Ask these questions, because I'm going to tell you, the more experience you have, the better. And one of the things that I did, I took this slow. I started getting solar calls at the end, towards the end, not even the end, like the fall of 2020. What did I do? Researched, read every one. I read every one of these that come in from all the different companies. So I understand what they do different, what they do the same. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is so valuable. And if you're only getting one offer, you have no idea how it compares to others. And again, you have the money. But these things aren't just like, oh, we'll give you blank per acre and 15% royalty. No, there's a diligence period, a construction period, a development period, operations period. There's all these different periods. Can you shorten them? Can you get more money? What do they mean? How can you negotiate to make this better? And little changes can result in big financial benefits. And that, that's not surprising. We've seen that before. We've seen that in gas leasing. So learn from our mistakes. It's just so simple. We have to learn from our mistakes. And I believe that people are learning, as I am seeing more and more people call. And as I talk about me being a hub, the more of these agreements I see, the more I read, the more I know. And the more I can help you. And the more I've learned, the more I've read, the more I can help people. So I'm learning every day too. But I think it's fair to say I'm probably a little further than most. I don't mean that in a bad way, because I'm doing this all the time. I'm reading these. My goal is to have virtually every paragraph of this one agreement I'm working on, virtually not memorized word for word, but almost. That's how meticulous I get. I read, and then I read, and then I read it again. When I'm done with these documents, I have like 6 different highlighter colors, and people who've seen this know. I pick apart every single word. I want to make sure that I'm not getting took, that you're not getting took, that I'm aware of these loopholes and we're defending them. So that's what you need. Get that help. Keep listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm up against here, final segment. Remember, oil, gas, solar, 570-307-0702. Attorney Doug Clark, Clark Law Firm. I represent landowners, only landowners. Call. See if I can help you. Remember, stop signing. Stop signing bad agreements. Put down the pen, pick up the phone, give me a call, 570-307-0702. Listen to All Things Marcellus each and every week at this time on this station. And most importantly, have a great and wonderful week, everyone. I will see you next week.